Hi everyone, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Pamela and this is Handle It. So let's get started. Alright, so kind of like I mentioned earlier, mental health is kind of like this big elephant in the room. We don't really want to talk about it, so let's not talk about it. Let's talk about the flu instead. So, PSA, y'all, the flu season is upon us. I repeat, flu season upon us. I don't even care if y'all don't like getting vaccinated. If you don't like getting vaccinated, that's your personal life choice. That's on you. Please, for all things good and holy, wash your hands. Please wash your hands. That's like the number one way like the flu gets spread, because people cough and then they touch things. Just wash them. Just wash your hands, because it's, I'm sorry, public health major, prevention has been drilled into my DNA. Prevention is key, and the only way to, kind of help stop spreading flu, washing hands. Just buy some hand sanitizer from HEB, Walmart, 98 cents. Slide it in there, just wash them. Okay, PSA over. But I am actually here to talk about the flu. Everyone knows what the flu is. In 1918, actually, the Spanish flu killed over 500 million people. So us being humans, if entire populations are being wiped off the face of the earth, we're going to do some investigating so that doesn't happen again. So there's numerous research papers, experiments, documentaries, lectures talking about what the flu is, what it does, signs and symptoms, how to prevent it, and if you have it, how to get through it, and things like that. Because that's just what we as humans do. Because it has a massive effect. It has physical things that not things, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess symptoms is the right word, but physical symptoms that we can see. So we're just like, we don't like that, and it's actually killing people. However, mental health, on the other hand, it's not as popular. Nowhere have you ever seen, or I'll speak for myself again, I've never seen anyone talk about it with such casualness. The point I'm trying to make is that it's not common, and it's not the social norm for us to sit down and be like, okay, let's talk about what causes this, what the signs and symptoms are of this. And before I continue, I just wanted to make a distinct clarification. So there's mental health and then there's mental illnesses. So the analogy I kind of think of it as is mental health can be compared to physical health. It's overall well-being, right? Your overall well-being of your mind, and that's based off of your emotions, your social environment, and things like that. Those and what's the word I'm looking for? Impact or influence your mental well-being. So that's just the state of being, kind of like your physical well-being. Physical well-being is you're able to move, get up, and do stuff, and then mental health is kind of I don't really want to use the word normal, because there's no such thing as being normal, because each and every single one of us is different. We're going to react to things differently. We're going to perceive things differently. So I don't want to use that word. How do I explain it? It's kind of mental health is just your individual state of being. However, whatever that definition is for you, mental health for individuals is more arbitrary, because I think that's what makes each and every single one of us so special, is because no two people are the same. So we can't really be oh, that's what mental health is supposed to look like. You can't do that, because we're all different. So I think that's where this kind of starts getting wonky. Now, mental illness, on the other hand, is the same as physical illness. It's when you're not at your efficient capacity, or there's something wrong with your chemical imbalances. So mental illness is due to chemical, neurological imbalances in your mind or in your body that impact your moods, impact your behavior, and things like that. So it's kind of so what I'm trying to say is mental illness is not your fault, if that makes sense. Kind of how if you have cancer, it's not your fault. Cancer is due to a proliferation of cancerous cells that kind of attack your good cells. Same thing with mental illnesses. The point I'm trying to make is that mental illness is not anybody's fault. It's just your body isn't working to its capacity in that sense. So I think when people don't really look at it like that. People are just like, okay, mental health, it's all one thing, here we go. No. And so whenever people are not feeling like normal, when they're not feeling like they're running at 100% capacity, they're just like, oh, something's wrong with me, but I can't say anything because people are going to think I'm crazy. So I think the problem kind of lies when people already have this like negative connotation of what mental illness is, right? And they don't really, either they don't educate themselves, or they get whatever information they get whatever information they have off of like movies and stuff, and they don't take the time to educate themselves, and then, you know, they kind of isolate and ostracize those people who are dealing with these illnesses. And unfortunately, like, that's just the world we live in. And also, unfortunately, like, this way of life, this way of being can't be changed overnight. So, you know, I was sitting and thinking about it, like, how can I do this? How can I, you know, how can I even, like, because this is it's a big topic. It's a sensitive topic for a lot of people. And it's just like, how can I approach this in the best way? And I was thinking about it, and honestly, I was thinking about it, and I was praying about it, and I was just like, you know, I can't change people. I can't change the way people think. I can't force them to see things the way I see them. And it wouldn't be fair for me to try to, like, force my views on someone else, you know? And I can't change circumstances. I can't change my circumstances, and I can't change your circumstances. But what I can do is change myself. You know, I can work on myself. And that's what I kind of want to encourage us all to do here today, is work on changing ourselves from the inside out. And it's kind of like in my last video when I talked about the, you know, the pebble effect. When you take time to educate yourself, reflect, and check on yourself, and check with yourself, and be that example in your own community, and other people see you and see what you're doing, then, you know, it's not going to happen overnight, but change begins with you. Change begins with you deciding that, okay, I don't like the way things are, and it's not going to happen overnight. And there's something that I can do, and there is something you can do, because you can change the way you think, you can change the way you act, you can change your beliefs, you can change the way you approach things. So that's what I want us to encourage us to do today. So, without further ado, I wanted to take this time to introduce you guys to handle this first ever series called Enough. It kind of took me a minute or two to figure out where I wanted to go with this. And I really want us to work on working from the inside out. And I think for a lot of people, whether they're dealing with their overall mental health, the state of their mental health, or they're dealing with a mental illness or a family member with mental illness, I think that's something a lot of us struggle with. Enough. And so the series is called Enough, and this particular video is called I Am Enough. So let's kind of get into that. Okay, so I guess the best way I want to, like, start talking about it is celebrities, right? Two celebrities I want to bring attention to in particular. Demi Lovato and Michelle Williams, right? So I love Demi Lovato. She's, like, an amazing singer. And, you know, this past summer, unfortunately, she was admitted to the hospital and due to an overdose, right? And she's been very transparent about her process and her journey and dealing with her mental health issues and things like that. And which I think is amazing, because it allows people who are also going through the same things to know that they're not alone, and to, you know, really see what it's like to be human. Because a lot of people think that celebrities are just these, like, gods or something, but they're people too. And I think her story is amazing in the fact that, you know, she keeps fighting, and she keeps trying to come back. So I really applaud her for that. But the point I'm trying to make is that she's a celebrity. She deals with mental health. So recently, I was also this summer looking through my Bible plans, and Michelle Williams has her own Bible plan and talking about how she dealt with depression, which I think is so amazing. You know, using God's word to, you know, put your story out there. So I commend her for doing that as well. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent with this. When I heard about, I'm gonna, like, way back when I first heard about Demi's situation, and recently when I heard about Michelle's situation, I was, like, from an ignorant standpoint, I was shocked. Because I was like, and I'm being so honest, I don't understand, because, like, these are two, like, amazing women. They have amazing voices. They have like money, power, and fame. So part of me, like simple little old me, is like because you honestly, like, you don't see everything, you don't see what goes on behind the doors, but so I was just like, what happened, what's wrong, like, and you know, I haven't like had a chance to like sit down and like read Michelle's story and to see like what went on, but I was just like, you guys, like, I mean, not that you haven't made, but like you haven't made, and I think just being honest and transparent about that, like what's wrong, you know. And I hold on because I can already feel the shade coming. But yeah, I was just like y'all have everything. Like, what's missing? Like, what wasn't enough for you to get to that point? And so, the next point, or not the next point, but the next thing I want to talk about is, I volunteered at a church as part of this mentorship program, and I worked with little girls. And you know, a lot of them talked about, you know, their insecurities and how they didn't think they were pretty enough or smart enough, or they just weren't as good as the rest of their friends, or they were bullied and things like that. And for me, that was it was really life-changing, because I feel like the older we get, the more we forget what it's like to be a kid, right? Number one. Number two, we forget that kids in this day and age are basically little adults, and they don't really have, I feel like they're, not that they're getting their childhood taken away, but they're having to grow up a lot faster than we did. And these are like elementary school kids, late elementary school, early middle school kids, or young ladies. And they were just telling me about their struggles. And I was like, wow, like, y'all are so young and to be going through all this stuff. And I was like, I went through all that stuff when I was in middle school, when I was their age. And I was just like, oh shoot, like, it really put my mind in, it really like humbled me and just kind of took me back to that time, like, oh, like, wow. But I remember this one girl in particular, when we were having the discussion, she talked about, you know, one of her friends, and how, like, you know, she talked about like his home life, and how like he just didn't think he was good enough for anyone or anything, and how like he contemplated like committing suicide all the time. Like, when I tell you guys, my jaw dropped like to the floor. I was floored. Like, you know that sound when like the car like screeches? Like, that was what happened in my mind. I was like, what? Like, you're not, like, again, ignorance. I'm humbling myself and admitting that I've had, not that I'm ignorant, but I've had ignorant moments. I was like, how can you, how do I say this? No, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be like straightforward. I was just like, you guys haven't even like, y'all don't even know yet. Like, y'all are, okay, I'll be honest. Like, I was just like, wow. I didn't say this to her, but I thought it in my head. Let's just get that part out first. But I was like, wow, y'all are like so young. Y'all haven't even like seen this yet. Because if y'all think middle school is hard, just wait till y'all become adults. Okay, just wait. You know, I forgot what it's like to be a kid. And kids today are basically little adults with bedtimes. Basically, they still struggle. They still go through all the stuff that, you know, adults go through, just in little bodies. And it just kind of broke my heart, because there are kids out there who don't get the opportunity to be a kid. And so this was, for me, this conversation with this little girl about her friend was really humbling for me, because it kind of reminded me, like, once upon a time I was that age, and I knew people who were also going through the same things. And for me, I just forgot, because I feel like when you're just focused on going, you kind of forgot where you came from. So that was another humbling experience. So the last thing I wanted to like talk about before I close this section up is myself. For me, I've always pursued perfection. That has been my biggest flaw. Like I said, I'm already like type A, but when I was like in high school or so, it was really bad. Or not high school, middle school through high school. It was really bad, because I just felt like, okay, if I can only just be smart enough, if I can only just be pretty enough, if I can only just be fast enough, if I can only just be enough, then everything will be okay. All my problems will be solved. So I did all my homework, I did everything my parents told me to. I kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And this is just me and my personal like story. To just meet everyone else's expectations, my parents, my teachers, my coach, everyone, just to make sure that I could be the perfect daughter, the perfect student, the perfect everything. Because, you know, in my mind, if you did everything that you were told, that everything's going to work out for you in the end. Like, you just going to be set. And for me, I was like, you know what? I want to be set. And that was PTSD. That was so much pressure I put on myself to just, get straight A's and just do everything and anything to be the best. Part of that comes from my cultural background because, Nigerians don't accept B's, okay? A B is a what? Yeah, we don't talk about B's in my household. I just remember just kind of pushing myself until one day I just remember, like, this is too much. Like, I just was like, I can't keep going like this. It's exhausting, and it's just kind of like it doesn't really matter what we do. There's always going to be someone who's just better at it than you, and it just took me a really long time to accept that. So for me, in my personal story, it was just I just wasn't enough in several areas, and that had its own toll on me, and I will go into more of that story later. But the point with Michelle Williams, Demi Lovato, those little girl's friend, myself, is that we were all lacking something essential in our lives, and that we needed to just feel whole. And a lot of us either pursued it in different ways, or we just crashed and burned. And I've crashed and burned before, and it was not fun. We all had that one. For us, it was either that one thing of not being enough, or several things, like me, because I'm extra. Several things of not being enough, or it's something that was missing in our lives. And whether it's celebrities who seem to have fame, power, money, or young people like me who are just trying to figure out up from down, or those little kids that are just getting started and may not have the most stable environment to grow in, we're all dealing with something in some form or another. So that's the point I'm trying to make. And generally, a lot of us have different ways of dealing with that. And in these cases, from Demi Lovato to the little kid to myself, we let our negative self-talk consume us to a certain point. I know for me, I kept comparing myself to other people that were who I wanted to be or doing what I wanted to do, and that was really, really bad. And I remember I was talking to my best friend about it some months ago, and she gave me this beautiful analogy that I'm now going to share with you guys. So it's a little story. So story time.